Hi,
Hello.
we are so back.
We took a week off.
Like we never left. We're back. We're
Indeed.
Securish. We're back.
Episode 4.
Securish. We're back. We're Securish. Episode 4 of Secure. Okay, I kind of messed up.
Today we're going to be talking about how we became securish. So our journey out of our avoidant attachment,
Yes.
our avoidant attachments, our insecure attachments into our current secure-ish selves.
And how we became securish, because we're not actually like 100% secure, but it's the process, and I feel like the journey is what makes it so much more like fulfilling once you actually get to a space where you're like, I didn't react how I used to react, or I didn't do the same things that I have been doing. And that's how I believe you change and you can change. There was like, I always say it wasn't like a pivotal moment, I don't think, or for me, where it was like, oh, it's happening. It was like a series of things over time. And I've been going to therapy since I was in school. Not like straight from like 16-year-olds to now, but I've had like, it's been intermittent times. So I've had therapy sessions, and that has helped me in different ways. But I also then realized that a lot of therapy, like CBT, it is incredible for cognitive behavioral therapy. It's amazing for understanding why you do the things you do, and like a structure, and there's like a rigidity to it. Whereas when you have ADHD, you need like somatic kind of meditation or somatic therapy, because it's more body feeling. So when you're anxious, for me anyway, I always feel it in my tummy, in my heart chakra, in my sacral chakra. I'm always like feeling, or was feeling, on edge. That's how I know the difference. So for me it was therapy, but it took me a long time to realize that it's not just CBT therapy, like therapy that I need somatic therapy too, because that helps me. But I'm not in the financial place to have somatic therapy on a professional level, so I've taken to looking for ways I can do it myself at home.
And what does somatic therapy look like for you? What does that actually involve?
Oh, thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
So when you have trauma, it's like, sorry, excuse me, it's trauma being stuck in your body, and what you're trying to do is like tell your body that it's safe. So it seems so simple. So it's like a lot of breathing techniques, and like feeling where you hold certain tension. So for me, breathing is such a hard thing. When I'm like anxious, it's so hard for me to. You're panicking, so your breathing is fast. So we don't realize every day we're just breathing, because that's the thing we do. So when you start doing somatic therapy or meditations, it allows you to like channel like your breath and think about where in your body you're storing tension. So when you're sitting with yourself, you're like, okay, I can't quiet my mind. It's not about quieting your mind. It's about being like, okay, there's a thought that's coming in. Let me focus on my breathing. Let me take a longer breath out than a shorter breath in. It's about like that, and it seems so simple. As someone with ADHD, it's been so difficult for me to actually meditate. But I feel like somatic therapy you can kind of think about where you feel tension in your body, but you have to be connected with your body to actually understand or to figure out where the tension and trauma is stored, for you to know that it's working. So I never used to be able to do it, because I was like, I don't feel anything in my body. I was always on high alert. Like my fight or flight was always on high alert. So I didn't know the difference. So that's really helped me, those meditations. Yeah.
And how do you think that is like manifested as help for you now? Like what difference in yourself can you feel from since you've started doing that?
Great question.
Thank you
so much for that one. I move slower. So it's like intentionally, like I'll move slower around the house, because I used to be like the bloody road runner.
Yep.
I was like
so fast all the time.
And Sophie's like, why are you rushing? Where are you rushing to go? You've just gotten out of bed and you're just already like, and it's like, it's made me more intentional. So, okay, I can feel now the difference of when I can feel myself getting anxious, or when the dysregulation is coming up, because I feel it in my belly, and that now feels different to me than what it was when I had like, well, I don't know if it's my intuition or if it's fear. Like I can tell the difference because of my breathing alone, or how it's making me feel, because I give myself a minute. When I didn't give myself a minute, I was just like running up and down. You can't tell like left from right when you're like a headless chicken, because that's how it feels when you're dysregulated. You cannot be like still. It won't allow you to be still. That's how. That's how, Sophie.
That's a great answer.
Thanks so much.
And you can definitely tell the difference in you, because you do move more intentionally instead of like, right, okay, now we have to do this thing and it has to be right now. And it's like, take a second.
Does it?
It does.
No, I know, and it also was like, does it? Because I was like, it needs to be now, and you was like, does it
Oh,
now?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, why
Why?
are you rushing? Like, why are
Yeah.
you rushing to do all these things? What's the rush?
Yeah.
Like,
Why do you have to respond right now?
why do you have to rush now? Why are we rushing out of the
Yeah.
house? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have an answer because
Yeah.
that was just, it was like a normal, continual thing for me to just do. How do you feel like? Do you feel like therapy has helped you more to be self-aware and not be avoidant, or was that your self-awareness just spring from your own brain? If that makes sense.
I thank you.
You're welcome.
I started therapy before I feel like I actually stopped being avoidant. I think therapy helped me to identify where my wounds were.
Right.
So where the origins of things were, and helped me to identify, okay, that is where this has come from. This is where this has come from. But I wasn't able to, because of money, I wasn't able to continue it. So I feel like therapy was like going to the garden center and buying the seeds and saying, okay, these are the seeds. But I didn't have the resources to plant said seeds. So it definitely helped me when I actually started becoming more secure-ish. I don't know if I can identify exactly when that happened. There was a few things that happened when we were not living here, when we were living in Coulsdon.
Oh yeah.
Not Croydon.
No,
absolutely not. I feel like I was probably one of like that period of time was the most, or one of the most avoidant periods of my life.
Just pulling down. Sorry, I didn't ask you. Can I pull that down? I didn't ask consent.
It's oh my gosh, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Right. You're the only person who can do that.
Okay. Not that I should. That's why I have to ask afterwards.
I trust her implicitly, so therefore
I don't want anyone to be offended by me doing that. So
who's going to be offended?
People watching, babe.
But it's me though. So if anyone's going to be offended, wouldn't it be me?
Yes. Okay.
Back to what I was saying. Yeah, I think therapy helped me to identify where my wounds were, but it wasn't part of my
self-awareness.
No.
Or you like, okay, so when do you feel like if ever you are self-aware? So that doesn't make sense. When do you feel like you started becoming self-aware within yourself and knowing like, raw, I might be avoidant and to do something about it? Because remember, awareness is the first step, self-awareness.
Yeah, but you see, this is the funny thing. I knew I was avoidant long before I stopped being avoidant.
Crazy.
So being self-aware that you're avoidant and choosing to stay, I think this is probably one of the things I'm not super proud of. I knew I was avoidant when we took that test. Attachment style test.
Yeah, we took a test on our balcony in Croydon, and that's the first time in 2021 we discovered insecure attachment styles. Yeah, and there was like a poll, like one of the magazines online, and I was like, "Oh, let's take it." I was a raging anxious avoidant. No, it wasn't.
Anxious, yeah,
anxiously attached. And I did Sophie's, and I asked the question she was answering. Yeah. Like, oh, you got avoidant.
I was like, yeah.
And he was like, sounds like me.
Yeah.
And he was like so happy to
proud
be
of it.
So
proud of it.
Crazy.
And that is, when I think back on it now, that is so foul.
And so toxic.
So toxic.
But we were toxic though.
We were, but I thought that was the way to be. Yeah. That was, so when it came out avoidant, I was like, yeah.
That tracks.
That tracks, and that's great. So I think that's when I became self-aware that I was avoidant.
Okay.
So again, that didn't contribute to the nope. That was so far.
Do you know how hard it is to like? It's also so difficult to pinpoint a time when it's like you knew, because I thought that I was like healing and yeah, I'm growing. It's for what, 3 years, 4 years? I was like, yeah, I'm doing the work. I was not. And I say this because again, it ties in self-awareness. It's like I knew that I wanted to change, but I was like, I don't know how, because this is easier. This being this way is easier for me. So it's like I know that I don't want to be anxious, but I don't know how to not be anxious when I'm in control of not being anxious, because no one outside of me can make me anxious. I allow myself to feel that way because it kept me safe. So it was like I had a self-awareness like you again. same coin, different size.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, so I know that I don't want to be this, but how can I change it? I've done these things. I've done therapy. I just, I've read all these books, and it's like I don't know what to do. Okay, so what are you gonna do about it? It was more like a stop trying to force it. Like the level of like forcing that I tried to do and be okay with things that I wasn't okay with, just generally. And I don't know if there was like a particular thing. Like I've said in our past like videos, there was like little bits, little things that happened that made me go, okay, this is not serving you, but I still didn't do anything about it because it felt comfortable to be that way, and doing the work felt harder than actually staying where I was, even though staying where I was harming me more than the uncomfortability.
But where you was more familiar. You knew how.
Oh, I know that.
You knew that landscape.
Oh, I knew that playground. I knew that, like, when we were like kids, you went to like the jungle gym or like the playground in like Brockwell Park or something. Yeah, like, I know the layout of that. That's safe. So I was like, that's fine. And we had no boundaries. Nope. Not one. No. And something that I always say about boundaries is they're not for other people, they're for you. And something I've learned is boundary. I can't remember where I heard this from. Boundaries aren't to put a wall up. It's to show people where the door is, so they can still come in once you set. Do you know what? I don't appreciate that. And they're not about like you need to do this. It's I'm setting this boundary for me, so you're not telling another person that you mustn't do that. It's like saying, what's an example? I'm not answering the phone after 10 p.m. to anyone. That's a good one, right? And instead of saying you don't call me after 10 p.m., you say I am not answering the phone. That is a boundary. You're telling the person that I'm not answering after 10 a.m. and that's my boundary. If you decide to call me, that's on you. I will not be answering. Exactly. But you're not forcing, and you're not telling the other person because don't because when you do that, it gets the other person's back up naturally, and it's like a blame thing, and it's not. It's if a boundary is a real boundary, it's for you. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna watch TV today with you because I just don't. I don't wish to do so. Do you know what I mean? That one. Okay, help me with that one. Which one? The whole TV one. Come help me out with the analogy. If I said to someone, I'm not watching TV with you,
and then let's say, okay, using that.
I'm not watching TV with you.
So I'm not watching TV with you. So then I come downstairs and I turn on the TV and I'm like, nah, let's watch The Pit.
Because that show is
amazing. And that would be me not respecting that boundary, but you respecting your boundary would be not coming downstairs to watch it. Because you said you're not watching it.
Okay, that's a good one. There's some good examples. Yeah. We didn't have any of those.
No, we didn't.
We were just like, let's do this thing and let's do that. Oh, I want to drink today. This is how we used to be in, like in our place in Croydon, like in 2021. I want to drink today, Sophie.
All right.
Can you buy? We consume so much alcohol. Can you please buy all these alcohols?
All right.
That is not.
How many?
No, the boundary would be 9. We shouldn't be drinking all this. I don't have the money. Firstly, this much alcohol consumption is not a good thing for us, especially when we're just like drinking every day. Like, you know what? Drink if you want to drink. We're not judging. No judgment here. But for me personally, I know that I was drinking to cover up actually doing the work for myself. So I can only talk for me to cover up lots of hurt. So me saying that and Sophie being like, yeah, sure, there was no boundaries because I'm jumping over her boundary. Did I ask if she had money? Did I know if she had money? Did I know if she wanted to actually go and buy alcohol? But I didn't ask her that. And on the flip side, Sophie didn't say, you know what, Nye?
Why are we doing? Why?
No, I'm not doing it. That's a boundary. Yeah. I'm not picking that up. If you would like to, you go and buy it.
Croydon me would never have said no. Croydon me would never have said no. There's no shot.
And Croydon me wouldn't have stopped to even think, is that a sensible thing to do? To ask your best friend to do that after she's come from work? Like, it's the self-awareness. And
I would never have asked you why.
Are you drinking so much?
Yeah.
Like, what's that?
But also, I was joining in. I was doing it because it was also adding to the numb.
Yeah.
That I wanted, and it's the numb that you want. It's that non-feeling that you want. So drinking actually aided that. You feel less. So whatever stresses were going on, there were a lot of stresses when we lived in Croydon. My goodness me.
I'm not going to go into it now. No need for that.
Maybe a story for another day. But drinking helped push it down, and drinking pushes down your feelings easier and quicker than you actively doing it yourself. So I was fully on board.
Oh yeah.
So I was never going to ask you why.
was like,
because
sure.
then we might stop.
Yeah, you were like, sure.
We did stop eventually, but
it took a while.
Yeah,
because other stresses came up that to kind of took over that, and that wasn't what's the word? That wasn't
it wasn't at the forefront.
Anymore. And that brings us on to uncomfortable conversations, because we didn't have any uncomfortable conversations when we used to live together.
We just yelled at each other.
We did, and then acted like nothing else happened. Speaking of, it's bizarre. Speaking of uncomfortable conversations, last weekend, Soph and I,
yes,
kind of got into it, and it's kind of a thing where it's like, how do you know that you've grown? And this definitely showed us. It definitely showed me that I've grown. It showed me that how much Soph's grown. There's something that came up that I felt very strongly about, and I wasn't aware how much it affected me. And Soph was going to be away, and I didn't know how to kind of, I guess, express how much the thing, not her being away, but the thing surrounding her being away would affect me. And so I caught myself getting really like, taught. That's how I taught. Yeah,
that word.
Like
taught.
Yes, very tight.
Yeah,
like, I found myself getting like, I feel very cooled out and drawn out, and I was like, well, again, cobweb. So I found myself resorting to my old self, and I was like, what's happening now? Why are you behaving in this way? What's going on? And I sit with myself, and I came to myself, and I was like, there's like something that's coming up for me, that I didn't realize was such a big thing for me. And what I didn't do, what I managed to pull myself out of afterwards, was say, like, how is Sophie meant to know that I have such a strong opinion or a strong feeling around said thing if I haven't figured out myself yet? So then I had to go away and think about why I felt so strongly around this thing. And then came back and was like, I feel really strongly about this thing. And I apologize for how I came at you in the first instance, because the changes that I caught myself before, we kind of, it was a bit heated, but we also gave each other that space to be like, I'm gonna go and walk away now, like, just because I need a minute. And you were like, I'm gonna do the same, not to avoid, but to just take that time to be like, let's come back to this in a minute, because we're both like, so if I don't understand what's happening because you haven't explained to me, and I'm like, I don't understand why I feel this strongly about something that doesn't need this, because it's not about what's happening. It's not what's happening in the present moment. It was from my past, so I had to figure out what it was that was making these cobwebs come up, and I did. And we had such a lovely conversation.
We did.
To kind of find the
middle ground.
Yeah. Do you want to explain that part?
I just, before I explain that part, I just want to say, like, the significance of it is because in the past we would have yelled at each other without any resolution, and then we would have gone our separate ways, and then a period of time would have passed, and then out of fear of, oh my gosh, she's gonna hate me, I'm gonna lose Nye,
I'd come and say sorry and not know what I was saying sorry for,
and I would be like, oh no, it's fine. No, it's fine. And then we would start doing something to make each other laugh, or just to appease it, and then move on, and we would never address what the actual problem was.
Right.
So just to add some background to the significance of this, so what was it that you asked me again?
To figure out how it's okay, darling. To figure out how we came to that middle ground and how we got to that, and what you did. Because you did something fantastic, to be fair.
So one thing that Nye and I have talked about a lot, healthily recently, is when we do have a disagreement, because we don't agree on everything, and some things we are very fundamentally...
I know, that's hard to believe.
And we have these heated debates about things, and sometimes we just have to agree to disagree. But sometimes when it would get heated and there's a lot of emotion involved, and I'll talk about why that's tricky for me, then we would like give each other a minute, or now we'd be like, okay, I just need a minute, and I'd be like, okay, I'd be like, I'm gonna take a minute, and then Nye would feel like she had to come to me to try and resolve it. And what we found out is that I need more time. I need more of a minute than
a literal minute.
A literal minute.
And in my ADHD brain, I was like, well, a minute's gone. But in my old self, I would want to do that because I'd be scared. But this time I was like, I'm not going to say to Soph that, you haven't come to me, because she just takes more of a minute. She needs more of a time to figure out and think out what's happened. And I'm learning that's okay for Soph to have that time, and for me to be like, oh, I always have to come to you. No, I used to go to her out of fear, thinking that I would lose her. But it's like, what? Sorry, babe, just to say this one thing. It's like, when you have a disagreement with someone, no matter who it is, especially if you care about them, the fear makes you feel like you're gonna lose that person.
Yeah.
But if you have a connection with someone, you guys disagreeing on anything doesn't mean that that's the end of said relationship, friendship. That just means you're disagreeing.
Yeah.
But that's a it's a trauma response to think panic because we disagreed. That's the end of it. That's
No.
not it at all.
But this time, yeah, I was so determined because also through my own self-work, being avoidant, you don't want to have those conversations that are difficult. You don't, because then it requires emotional investment. And it's not that you don't care, it's that you're terrified of the vulnerability that would come with said difficult conversation, whatever that difficult conversation is. But this time I was like, no, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to come tonight because I want, first of all, I've had my minute and I feel like I can have this conversation, but also I want to show Nai that she doesn't always have to be the one to come to me to further the conversation. So
I appreciate that.
did.
She did.
I did.
She did.
I came to her and I was like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, can we talk about it? How do we move past it? How do we resolve it?
I said I don't know because I didn't know at that point. But I did take in at the moment. I was like, Soph came to me first. It's very cool. But it wasn't
hard. It was hard.
It wasn't out of a, oh, she's come to me first. It's more like a, wow, Soph's growing. As difficult it is for Soph to actually be like, okay, let me come and try and resolve this because I love this person, I trust her, and I want to have this conversation. So I acknowledge that. Do you know what I mean? Yes. But also I acknowledge the fact that Soph doesn't know what's going on in my brain if I haven't told her that I don't know why this thing came up for me, rather than like kind of spinning out, because I'm human. We're all human. We can all sometimes fall back into ways without even realizing. But I really appreciate the fact that you was like, I'm gonna come and speak tonight first. But I'm also learning that just because I don't need to go and say anything to fill the space if I don't have anything to say right now, it's okay for me to take a minute.
Yeah.
If we both have had like a minute, like, or sorry, not minute, we've had a little bust up, it's okay to have that space. I don't need to come to you out of fear to be like, are we okay? You might not feel fine in that moment, but we will be okay fundamentally.
I have no fear of losing Nai.
I have no fear of losing her.
She can't go anywhere, so we've already
we're in this
forever, bitch.
Nor can she. As much as she might want to. She doesn't want to, by the way.
Absolutely not.
Speaking for you, but I know that's the truth.
Absolutely not.
So that was, I hope that's made sense to you all, because it's like, it's not even, I would say it's those little things. It's not a little thing, it's huge. Like, it's a big thing. You was going to say, why is opening up is hard for you? About emotions, was it?
Yeah. Okay. So again, when you are avoidant, you try and suppress your emotions. And one of the biggest curves for me has been actually feeling said emotions. And last week I was an emotional wreck. It was a really tough week emotionally for me. It was a lot.
Times have been hard, man.
Times have been really hard.
Like financially, let's be so real. I don't like to use the term hard, but it's been tough.
It has been tough. It has. And that really got to me last week, and there was other things that were attached to it as well that also compounded it. So while feeling all of that, having that conversation with Nai and just being like, I feel everything and it all feels like a lot. And I think I said to you, I feel like I need to explode for somewhere for those feelings to go. Right. In the midst of this disagreement that we were having, that at the whole crux of it was a misunderstanding. Yeah. Nai thought one thing, I thought a different thing, and the wires got crossed. But what was really important was that we didn't try and wash over it and move past it without actually addressing it. We talked about what the term that we use is like, what's at the whole crux of it? Yeah. Was it the fact that I was going away? Was it the thing that was attached to it? Was it both? And we got there in the there in the end.
Like, what's a happy medium that's gonna work for both of us?
And we found it.
And we did. And that is growth, my guy.
Oh my gosh, I was so gassed.
Me too.
I was
still
so
gassed
gassed, was
about it.
so healthy. We're getting there. Healthier.
Let's not jump.
Okay.
Jump
But I'm gonna toot our horn a little bit because that was big for our friendship, because we've known each other. This year will be 30 years. Yeah, babe.
Wow, Juan.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's young at heart for sure.
Yeah.
Joints don't feel young though.
Wow. Just my left knee. Wow, I can't. It's my left
It's
knee,
always my right hip and my left knee.
I'll be slapping to that age. I was about to say. I was about
Nope.
to say it.
No.
No, but the uncomfortable conversations that we've had, and many conversations. I sometimes wish we had started this earlier, but everything in divine timing, because the amount of conversations we've had to just get here. Like, if you knew the conversation we'd had before we were like this in a more like secure-ish, healthy-ish place, would have been wild. But we wouldn't have been doing this.
No,
we wouldn't have been in the place to do it.
No, we wouldn't have.
We thought we were okay.
Yeah.
That we were okay, as in like, because we're worthy, we're human, but like we weren't the healthiest mentally in how we approach things. So,
like I said, after that that quiz, I was gassed. I was proud to be avoidant. I was proud.
I was just always on edge. I said to Sophie the other day, I likened like being dysregulated and anxious and having the fight or flight mode. It's like, I wouldn't know if a lion actually came to me. The same reaction I would have to a lion like coming to me. I'd have to receiving a message from someone or not. That is outrageous. That is how it felt to be in fight or flight all the time, and that is not a way to live. That's no way that I wanted to live anyway.
How did you get out of that? Because that is big for you.
It's so bizarre. I think it's all tied into like, I think, I don't know if I want to say it. A lot.
You don't have to go into specifics, but what general things helped you move forward?
Somatic meditations. Genuinely, somatic meditations have been. I have these like affirmation cards that I do every morning now. I don't know. I feel like God/universe spoke to me. I genuinely do. And we're like, it was like, no, it was connected to myself, but it was also connected to somebody else, and also this lovely person here, where it was like, all right, now what are you doing about this? And I feel like it's all tied in, because so much of who I was tied into other people. No matter if it was like family, friends, people I've dated in the past, it was all culminated into like one thing. I was like, why am I so like anxious about all these things? It's like generalized anxiety, and I placed that label on me, and I was like, but I don't need to be that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to survive and be doing survival mode anymore.
So questioning yourself.
Yeah, the why of it all. Basically, that's the answer. The why, and because of this one. So as a child, she was so inquisitive. Why? Like she just was like, why about everything, and that asking myself why and being honest with myself.
Yes.
Like how I actually feel.
Yeah.
How do you want to feel?
Yeah.
Like, and I've been like envisioning how it would feel when I don't or didn't feel dysregulated, and it feels fantastic.
Yeah. One thing I would say is that crying, I always used to think that people who cried were crazy. I used to think like you're wild, but actually it is so therapeutic, cathartic.
Great word.
It's so crying, allowing myself to actually cry, and I think I said it last episode,
maybe one of them,
has unlocked the door for other emotions for me, because crying and feeling sad was my greatest, sadness and anger were my greatest fear. I feel like I've got sadness, and just allowing it, like feeling the panic and then just letting it happen. And it sounds simple, it's really not. You think you're gonna die. I thought I was gonna die, and that sounds as dramatic as it does. But then when you realize, oh, okay, I actually feel a bit better. That's weird. So everything I've told myself in my head is not true.
Fundamentally untrue.
Interesting. So I wonder what else isn't true.
The question, the why, you see? It's the why of it all. That's how I'm gonna call it. That is it. Just
the why of it all.
Yeah, just ask myself why I feel that way. Why this made me feel that way. How do I want to feel?
Yeah.
What have I made this thing mean? What have I made this thing mean about me, or mean about my worth, or mean about who I am? Why? To those questions. And it's hard to actually ask yourself those questions and be actually honest with yourself. And I struggled a lot. So
yeah,
I'm glad I'm in a better place. I'm still human, so I have moments where I'm like, we all kind of fall back into we can do because it feels easier, but it's not easier. And it's, for me, it's not been easier. I'm not as uncomfortable, and I'm learning to be comfortable in uncertainty and in being uncomfortable in this new way that I'm aiming and being.
And I think I'm being more, I'm feeling more comfortable in feeling emotional.
Oh, God, I love that for you, because I'm all emotion. Well, not all, but a lot of it. My birth chart is predominantly water. You're welcome. To everyone who like comes into my orbit. No, but and I love that for you, because it's such a lovely thing to see you actually stepping into like feeling your emotions and be like, you know what, I don't feel good, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. And I love that, because I don't know, I just like, I'm like a, I don't want to say succubus, I'm not. You're not. I'm really not.
Absolutely
I'm like
not.
the Mariana Trench Challenger Deep. So it's like, oh, come in, it's okay to feel this deep. So it's like, you feel really like last week when Sophie was super down, I was like, don't feel sad about being down. Feel how you feel. Sit in it. I'm like, I get you. I'm gonna leave you. And if you need me, I'm here. That is it. You don't need to pretend. Do you know what I mean? So I love that for you, because it was so hard for you to even be like, I don't know how I feel, and I want to explode.
Yeah.
And you're safe.
Yeah.
Because you're still here, you know?
I know. I didn't explode.
You didn't. And you got through it.
I did.
Because you allowed it to pass.
And through that, we are able to have difficult conversations without fear. I do not fear feeling angry or feeling sad or feeling whatever in a conversation. So I'm not going to avoid it. In fact, we're going to have that conversation after we've had our minutes, because we are people who need a minute, because we're passionate people. Do you know what I mean? We're passionate about each other.
It's okay to take a minute.
And it's okay to take a minute. It doesn't mean you're running. It doesn't mean that you're avoiding.
It doesn't mean that you're super, super anxious if you don't want to like have the conversation just like right now. It's okay.
It's all right, because sometimes if you're up here, you need to get to here to have a productive conversation. Because I know that sometimes if I'm heated, up here and here do not connect.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think you've summed it up really well. You've ended it really well.
Thank you.
I'm not going to make the last thing about me. But yeah, I'm looking at my nails. Anyway, it's been real, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.